everybody to round number 9 of the Formula 1 World Championship, and today we are here for the German Grand Prix. Before we get into that though, of course we've got all the main breaking news to break down and also then the main race news for this weekend. So let's get straight into it and see what's been going on. First things first, Tom and Daniel Ricciardo have been questioned over not telling anyone about Marcus being in Formula 1. Just to quickly recap, if you haven't seen last week's episode, I recommend you go and see that one, as it's going to give you all the information with regards to the story with Marcus. Putting it short, Marcus was part of a corrupt hierarchy Ferrari firm when he used to work for Ferrari, which cost Sebastian Vettel his drive, it cost Tom his drive, and also Daniel Ricciardo his drive, as he was forcing everyone to play second fiddle to Max Verstappen, and if they weren't, they would be sacked. He then got kicked out of Ferrari and became his own personal sporting agent and is still back in the scamming world. He caught out Max Verstappen by signing him out of Formula 1 without him knowing, and gave Lando Norris a seat at Williams when he thought he was promised to go to BMW, even though they were leaving the sport anyway. So, obviously, Reese was then going to sign with Marcus as his agent. However, Tom and Ricciardo both said, no, you must go elsewhere. It is serious. And now, obviously, the question is, why didn't they tell anyone else? You know, why don't they know that, you know, Verstappen and Norris had Marcus as their agent? You know, why did they not tell them? You know, they told Reese to stay away, but they didn't tell those lot to stay away. So now they're under a bit of questioning about that. Max Verstappen has stated that he's had a lot of offers from F1 teams to join the grid next season. Verstappen, of course, is not in this season due to the scandal that he's been involved with Marcus, and of course that has cost him dearly. However, he says that he's not worried, and he's had a lot of offers come in for Formula 1 teams, and he's spoiled for choice, and he says that he'll definitely be seen on the grid next season. Now, this is an interesting piece of news that has just broken out. A major row has occurred inside the Audi garage between their drivers. We know that Devon Butler and Valtteri Bottas don't necessarily get along all too well, but clearly something has escalated inside that garage and we're not sure why. We'll probably find out next time what's been going on between these two, but something caused some issues and some people had to go and check and see if everything was alright, but the garage was blocked off and no one was allowed to go inside. They just heard a lot of shouting. So yeah, something went wrong. We'll have to try and see if we can get in contact with anyone else from Audi to see if they can give us the lowdown on what happened. But yeah, something's not right down there. And then finally, this is another interesting thing that's just come along. Sam has apparently reportedly told McLaren that Lewis Hamilton needs to leave the team. This is something that was completely caught everyone out of the blue. Of course, at the moment, Sam and Hamilton are partnered together in McLaren. Sam clearly being the faster of the two drivers, with Lewis Hamilton saying that he's very much struggling to get it to grips with this McLaren overall. He just doesn't feel like the car suits him. But it'd be quite interesting if he reportedly told McLaren that Hamilton needs to leave. Would McLaren even bother listening to that? Would McLaren just kick Sam out of the team because he said that? Not too sure, but yeah, that's a bit of an interesting one to point out there. Now what we're going to do is go into the race news and see what's been going on heading into this weekend. Finally, McLaren's power unit upgrades have arrived, but the biggest problem is they are by far the fastest car. They were absolutely flying in qualifying sims and in race trim. Nobody could even touch them, and it's worrying times for the other teams. Getting close to panic stations. Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull all fear that they don't think they can catch McLaren after what they're now showing in terms of their pace. It's not looking good. Toto Wolff from Mercedes says that what McLaren have brought is literally caught us by storm, and they don't have a clue how they're going to be able to match that, especially with this now being pretty much at the halfway point of the season. They don't know whether they can even think of doing that. Of course, McLaren announced this major development upgrade very early in the season, and obviously teams are getting caught out by it. And finally, tyre strategy is once again going to be key for this race. Of course, you've got the ultra soft tyres, then we drop straight to soft tyres and then mediums. A lot of teams will be thinking about whether to ditch the ultra soft tyres and go straight for soft medium as a one-stop. However, those faster cars like McLaren might get away with a two-stop. Without further ado though, let's get straight into it. It's time for the race for the German Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on guys, it is Fox United here, welcome back to a brand new episode of the F1 journey for you guys today here on the channel. So we're here for round number 9. It is the German Grand Prix, and hopefully we can try and bounce back from what was a difficult Monaco Grand Prix. If you guys haven't checked out that episode, be sure to go and check it out by going over to my channel and just clicking it and watching it. It's quite that simple. Anyway, let's get straight into the German Grand Prix then, and I decided to take a little bit of inspiration from Monaco. Now, around Germany, the tyre compounds is the ultra soft, the soft, and then the mediums. Now, I remembered that the ultra soft tyres don't really last that long around Germany. Same amount of time as Monaco, albeit obviously you can overtake around Germany, which is a completely different factor. So my first flying lap was on the ultra soft tyres, and I just tried to see where I could position myself, which was down in 13th place. I then went out onto the soft tyres and tried to get into the top 10 on soft tyres. However, they were that much slower than the ultra soft tyres that I basically wasted my own time, and it didn't happen. So we got P13 only. Meanwhile, it is a front row lockout for the newly upgraded McLarens. Reese and George Russell and the Mercedes lock out the second row. Then it is the Renault splitting the two Ferraris. Then it's my teammate Vettel, the Porsche car there, Ocon, Rosberg, the two Audis. I'm in a little Audi sandwich there. But as you can see, we're now going to do the one-stop strategy. You can see that. I think it's 6 laps it says on there. So we should be able to get enough time to really make a dent in a lot of my rivals here for this race. If we can start on the soft tyres, which we're going to do, then we've got 5 red lights here for the German Grand Prix, and it's lights out. Here we go then to start this race, and it's been a decent start by the looks of it from the man in 4th place, George Russell, as we now go up in towards the first corner. We've made a decent start, actually, cautiously going around the outside there and going a little bit off circuit, but it's all right as we now go in towards the second corner here, having a look at the second Audi of, I believe that's Devon Butler, and a little bit of a whack there between myself and Nico Rosberg. In fairness, I actually went in a little bit hot there into that corner, but it's all right, no damage done. And like I said, got to get a bit of wheel-to-wheel racing in there if it means legitimate stuff. There's a lot of side-by-side action there. We've got Reese side-by-side with his teammate George, and then we've got Ricciardo side-by-side with Fernando Alonso, and then we've got Leclerc side-by-side with my teammate Vettel. We, meanwhile, are going down the inside of both Ocon and also Pascal Wehrlein, and we get the overtake done on the pair of them, confirming that now. We've just got past him, and that is us now up into, I think that's already 10th place there, so Ocon does try and come back at us, but we completely shut that door, and Rosberg and Ocon have to fight it out now, in which Ocon manages to stay intact, and already up into 9th place then after that start. So 13th up to 9th, beautiful start for us, and now we're closing up to my teammate Sebastian Vettel. As you can see now, this is the crucial stage here. Already, these guys are halfway through their stint, and they're nowhere near overtaking me. As we now blast it down the inside of Sebastian Vettel into the hairpin, my own teammate, get past him, up into 8th place. Next up is Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari now. And meanwhile, the two McLarens are pulling away quite comfortably as we get a beautiful screen freeze there, which costs us a little bit of time, but it's all right. On to lap 5 of the Grand Prix now, and Charles Leclerc has actually overtaken Fernando Alonso, and now it's our turn to try and get onto the back of Fernando here. So as we can see now, we're going to open up the DRS, go into rich and high modes, and see if we can try and make an attack. But obviously that Ferrari has got the straight line speed deficit against myself, should I say. I've got the straight line speed deficit, and Alonso's got slipstream and DRS on Leclerc, but he breaks a bit early into the hairpin actually. He pretty much just invites me to go down the inside. So we do go down the inside of Fernando Alonso, make the overtake stick there. It was a bit of a strange one from him. I thought he'd be a little bit more aggressive, but he decided not to go for the overtake on Charles Leclerc, and it really cost him. Lap 5 to lap 6 of the Grand Prix. Crucially, you just saw there, myself and Leclerc were right behind the Mercedes of Reese, and he's going into the pits now for his one of 2 stops. And for us, meanwhile, yeah, we're carrying on. We're just skipping along on our own ways. We now try and set up a move here against Charles Leclerc now, and we try it just in this DRS zone, but then obviously I remember there's a long back straight coming, so I basically just get Charles in every single position that I want, heading onto this straight to then mount the serious attack with the DRS and the slipstream, turn up the engine power as well, so we can try and get past him, and then we're going to do just that here, going up the inside now of Charles Leclerc, and that's us up into 3rd place in the Grand Prix, with only George Russell and I believe a Lewis Hamilton in front of us. So already as Lando Norris there, unfortunately, does retire from the Grand Prix. It's already been a sensational start to this race for us today, and now we are looking very, very handsome indeed out front. Meanwhile, speaking of us being out front, let's go and have a look at some of the replay cams. Of course, during this time period, I'm now out front and now managing my tyres, managing my race. Now it's time to see what the other guys are doing throughout the pack, and we're on board with Sam, who was in the race lead, and obviously in that McLaren, which as you can see is absolutely rapid. Those engine upgrades, they took a while to come for for McLaren, but on that occasion, it really gives him the power, and he can go straight clean past the Audi car there of Devon Butler. Meanwhile, there is the Ford of Carlos Sainz in front of Hulkenberg, and George Russell in front of Ricciardo. Meanwhile, we've got Charles Leclerc now, who being under attack there from Reese, or Reese attacking Leclerc, one or the other. Reese was in front of Charles just before the pit stop, so now as they make their charge down towards the Mercedes-Benz grandstand, Leclerc comes out on top and stays in front of Reese, or passes Reese. I have no idea what they were doing. Back on board with Sam, though. He's now caught up to Devon Butler and also Pascal Wehrlein in the... No, it's not Pascal Wehrlein, that's Nico Rosberg in the Porsche car. So these are the final two cars now that Sam needs to overtake to get himself back up into second place. Meanwhile, Hamilton, though, is going for an attack on both Sainz and also the Jaguar car of Hulkenberg. And as he goes around the outside of Carlos Sainz, he manages to make a double overtake there. Really good stuff from Hamilton as he tries to press his way back up the grid as well. A little bit slower than what Sam's doing in that, but nonetheless he is doing it. We've got a three-wide moment here. They're all George Russell with one of the Renault cars there, and that's George Russell now going down the inside of Hulkenberg to make that move stick on the Jaguar man, and that is Daniel Ricciardo, I believe, that is now trying to find a way through, and is not going to find a way through because George makes it through nice and cleanly. Back on board with Sam, he's now going to have a second go here at Devon Butler as they go in towards turn one. This time around, Sam makes the move down the inside on Devon Butler, compromises his exit, and that means Butler's not going to get the DRS attack on Sam, and now Sam has one more car between himself and then me, and he can just literally chip away at the lead that I've got in this race. All I'm hoping for is for that man in front, Nico Rosberg, to cause Sam some problems and get him off my back. Here comes Sam, though, with the DRS, getting very, very close now to the back of Nico Rosberg. Not going to do it on this lap, so we do have at least another lap in our favour as the Jaguar car, once again, is going to have some fun here of Nico Hulkenberg to go steam around the outside of Carlos Sainz. Of course, the Jaguar and the Ford pretty much in a little bit of a rivalry between themselves in this season so far. Jaguar, of course, will be absolutely devastated to really not be mounting that much of a challenge this year, and obviously I wonder when they're going to start focusing on next year, because that's probably what they want to be focusing at. We go back at the front, though, towards Sam now, who's going to go for it up the inside of Nico Rosberg into turn one. Sam makes the move stick, and that's him now into second place on lap 10 of the Grand Prix. Thank you very much, McLaren steering wheel, for telling me where they're at, as he now has to go slightly defensive there, as Rosberg was having a little look at trying to re-overtake Sam there, as we now go flying through with the McLaren driving. You can already see the gap that he's pulled out, but critically, he's not going to have DRS here, so let's see if Nico Rosberg can get back past Sam. And you know what? He's got his engine mode turned right up on that overtake. Flies his way past Sam. Now also Devon Butler fancies a run at Sam around the outside in towards the hairpin, but Sam covers that one off quite nicely, and that's him down into third place. Now Sam is going to go for yet a second attack now on Nico Rosberg and try and stop him from basically holding him up. That's all Rosberg's doing, is just getting in his way. As we have a look a little bit further back, that's Hamilton passing Valtteri Bottas, or defending from Bottas. Meanwhile, Sam goes around the outside of Nico Rosberg and makes the move stick, but on that occasion, does Rosberg have DRS or does Sam have DRS? No, Rosberg has DRS, and Rosberg is actually slightly closer to the McLaren than he was on the last occasion. So Rosberg might just be in with a shout of coming back at Sam for a second time here as we go in towards the hairpin now. Let's see who comes out on top. Sam is defending quite hard against Nico Rosberg on this occasion. Sam does get the move done and gets in front of Nico Rosberg and finally is released into some clean air. Meanwhile, Hamilton goes up the inside of Bottas a lap later to confirm that overtake, as we've now got the Audi of Butler and also the Porsche car of Nico Rosberg going side by side, as Sam now is pulling away off into the distance and looks to close the gap down between myself and him. Hamilton also is now trying to pull away from that Audi car. He might be under pressure heading in towards this hairpin for the Audi car, but we go back and forwards here to Nico Rosberg and Devon now having a little bit of a scrap here as they go in towards the hairpin now. Rosberg is going to go around the outside, but Butler has the inside line to cover that one off, and he makes the move stick. Hamilton defends his position against Valtteri Bottas. Won't need to worry about him anymore. He'll be able to have the pace to go away. And hello, hello, hello. There's a lot of fighting going on here then. Well, Charles Leclerc is having a look at Pierre Gasly in the Ford, or is that Carlos Sainz? It is Sainz. I'm getting everyone's wrong. I'm getting all the drivers wrong today. Charles Leclerc towards the Mercedes-Benz grandstand, gets past Carlos Sainz in the Ford, and that just goes to show how very slow Ferrari and Mercedes are at the moment. They're really not clearing the traffic as fast as the McLarens are. Obviously, we know the McLarens have got a much better package with them now, but still, shouldn't really have this much trouble passing the likes of the Fords and the Jaguars. But I mean, there you go. As Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, is passing Nico Rosberg. His advantage, he's got DRS on this long straight, so Rosberg shouldn't really come back at him. He has got the slipstream in mind, so he might have a little look Rosberg, though, has to concede the position on that front to Lewis Hamilton. And we've got a nice big train coming on here as Carlos Sainz now is under pressure from Fernando Alonso in the Ferrari. Sainz goes towards the inside line to defend the position, and you can see Alonso is just about a headbutt of Sainz. Actually, fair play to him. He outbrakes Alonso going into the hairpin, so Sainz might just be able to stay in front here. And yeah, he does. Fair play, Sainz. I mean, you know, he's completely out of position, but he's having some fun. Why not let him? We're now going to go on to Lewis Hamilton's POV here, and he's caught up to Devon Butler now in the Audi, and he's going to go past him around the outside in towards turn 2, or he might set himself up. Bit of contact there, actually, between Butler and Hamilton, so they're getting a little bit scrappy for that third place in this Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton, though, is going to get the DRS, though, on this straight. This is going to be a very simple overtake for Lewis Hamilton, as we shall see right now. He's going to go to the inside line here, and actually no, Butler's clearly got his engine turned up. Hamilton might have his turned down a little bit as they now go down the inside, and that is him up into third place, and that is both the McLarens completely free of all of the traffic. They managed to finally get past them. Now we're going to go on board with George Russell here, who is fighting the Ford of Pierre Gasly. In the, I just literally said in the Ford. I am really not with it today. Russell, though, gets the position done, and that's him promoted up a place. Charles Leclerc now is going to have his go at trying to take on the Ford of Pierre Gasly, although Gasly and Leclerc have both got the DRS. Leclerc flies past George Russell in the Mercedes-Benz and goes up into, gets a double overtake there. George Russell has to do a bit more defending because he's still got Gasly there, and now George Russell maintains his position, and now he's going to have to set about attacking Charles Leclerc, and this is exactly what he's doing now. Here comes George Russell with the power of the Mercedes, goes to the outside line, into the hairpin they go. Leclerc has the inside line. Can he cover this one off quite easily? Yes, he can. It seems like the AIs are very easy at defending the position when they've got the inside. Lovely bit of defensive work there, and that's him now staying in front of him. Meanwhile, let's cut to me for once. Hi guys, you can actually see me in this race. Lap 15 of the Grand Prix, we've just been leading quite comfortably, and now we're going to come into the pits, go on to the soft tyres, and not the soft tyres, the medium tyres, and we're going to go to the end of the race. The one-stop strategy so far working very nicely in my favour, but this is going to be a crucial stint now. The McLarens still have got about 6 or 7 laps left on those soft tyres. They're now going to be on a faster compound tyre throughout the rest of the race. This is where it's going to get difficult. Now we just need to see if we could just get as much performance out of these medium tyres. Basically, try not to lose as much time try not to lose time, basically, whilst we're on these medium tyres. Because as you can see, cold tyres, and they are the slowest compound available to us today. So we really need to just try and capitalise on that as the back end continues to slide and squirm around. Lap 20 of the Grand Prix, that's Lewis Hamilton there. He's now coming into the pits, and he's going to relinquish the race lead. Sam's already stopped, and we've got the advantage now over Lewis Hamilton. We're very far in front of Lewis. Compared to Sam, though, we're only 2.2 seconds clear with 14 laps to go. We are going to have to fight hard for this one. Speaking of fighting hard, lap 22 of the Grand Prix, we are now set for 12 to 13 laps of myself versus Sam. It is one man versus the other to the flag. So here we go then, onto the straight then. We're going to open up all of the engine modes that we've got, and I absolutely love this helicopter cam here. It literally looks like a police pursuit chase. It's fantastic. Sam now goes towards the outside line. We're going to cover the inside line in towards the hairpin and make our stance straight away by covering off that move, shoving Sam wide and costing him crucial amounts of time. Now we need to start working on fuel and ERS management. We don't have much left, and my plan basically is save absolutely everywhere apart from the straights, and that's what we're doing as we now go through the last corner here and onto the straight. Sam, though, has got a fantastic exit off of that final corner, opens up the DRS, and you can just see the power of that McLaren in a straight line. And we blast it through now and go a little bit wide on the exit, but it's all right. You can get away with that. And we get past Sam and stay in front of him. And that seemed to be a trend, which I then realised straight away. I was saving everything. That's a little bit wide on the exit on that curb, though. Got caught at the underside of the car, getting caught on the curb as Sam goes to the outside line. And I just realised this every single time as we now go in towards the first corner. Sam seemed to be prioritising his attacks towards that outside line of turn 1, or I forces him to the outside of turn 1. Knowing that, I knew that I had to just keep the engine modes in a high gear through the long straights because he still had an opportunity. Heading towards the stadium section though, Sam decides to make a little bit of a change in his approach to attack there, but it doesn't work out on that occasion. Get a bit of a screen freeze on the exit, but it's okay, and we can cover our line though, and through we go, and we're staying in front of Sam for the time being. But that's the first time then that I spotted that Sam decided to go for it in a different section of the track, and now we go back to the normal attack mode for Sam. And as you can see, we're going to go to the inside line, and it's a rinse and repeat process, but we just have to keep doing this and keep costing Sam the time that we need, and staying out in front is what we can possibly do in this situation. Hamilton though is 9.3 seconds back, and with 10 to go, if we scrap very, very hard, Hamilton might just come into play later in the Grand Prix. So although he's far behind, don't count him out just yet. And you can see this is what we've been doing, that we've been choosing rich and overtake mode on this straight. And on this occasion though, Sam has got his engine turned up a little bit more. He's going to go for the outside line. We're just going to keep defending the inside line constantly. It's a very consistent area to defend. It's not as easy to defend on the outside line. And plus the guy that's coming behind you can take advantage of the slipstream for a much longer period of time. And that's what I don't want. I'm trying to pull away from that slipstream because that McLaren, as you can quite clearly see, is fast enough in a straight line to be able to cope with that as we blast our way through turn 1 on lap 26, staying in front of Sam. What's that gap to ourselves and Hamilton? 8 seconds. He's getting closer. I think there's 9 or 8 to go, so he's getting pretty much on the bubble of being able to get onto the back of us. Lap 26 now to start lap 27. Sam once again going for his attack, and we're doing a great job here of managing fuel and managing ERS. We're not doing too bad compared to where we were a few laps ago, and there you go, Hamilton 6.8 now behind us. So he's gained 1.2 seconds on that last lap alone. I said, look, don't discount Sam from the not Sam from oh, that's Alonso out of the Grand Prix. So that's a big one there. The Ferrari of Fernando Alonso retires from the German Grand Prix. That is a disaster for the Spaniard, who is going to make it another race with no points today, as Sam goes for a second attack on us here. And as I was saying, Hamilton now has brought himself right into play here with 7 or 8 laps to go. He's now in great contention, and again, we go wide, get caught on the curb on the exit of the final corner. Sam though tries to have a little look at us there. He might have actually made contact with the back of my car. We go into the first corner, defend the position quite nicely. Watching that gap between myself and Hamilton, 5.2. He's literally around about 1.5 seconds a lap faster on average compared to us now. No matter what, Lewis Hamilton will get onto the back of us before the end of the race, and I'm not going to have to defend against one McLaren. I'm going to have to do it against 2. So this is really stressing me out. And when I was in this race, trust me, I was seriously stressed, and you can tell why. Sam comes again towards the hairpin, but we go a little bit late on the brakes. I felt a little bit of contact, but it's all right though. We managed to stay in front and actually managed to break the car. I thought we were not going to do that, but we did. Now lap 28 to start lap 29. Guess what we're going to do? Yeah, defend the inside line. That's what we're going to do, and we're trying to manage our ERS a little bit more. And you can see, as soon as I realised that Sam's not closing up as much, I can get away with it. Meanwhile, Hamilton 3.9 seconds back, getting even closer now to fighting at the front here. Of course, all I'm doing is just holding up Sam, holding him up, and just seeing how long I can do it for. At this rate, you know, I'm pretty much putting myself in a scenario whereby if I just let Sam go, then I would have been able to have probably held off Hamilton. But I'm now in a situation whereby I'm not going to do that. I literally committed to this strategy for that very reason, as we go very deep in towards the hairpin there. That's not the line that we want to take in there. Rejoin back onto the circuit. Sam, though, is going to take full advantage of that here. Gets a much better exit as they go through now, the two of us, towards the Mercedes-Benz grandstand. We stay in front of Sam for the time being and trying to slow down for the next corner now, which we do just that there. So that's our first critical mistake that we've made under pressure from Sam in that McLaren, as he now gets a great run towards the stadium section. I do cover it off, but Sam, though, is still going to try it here. He actually sneaks his car to the inside line, completely caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting him to go around the outside. We now defend the position, so close to contact there between myself and Sam there, as I lost the rear end on the exit of the curb, literally pushing as hard as I possibly can in this race. Now Sam is going to have that run in towards turn 1 that I know all too well about. He's really got the engine modes turned up this time. The straight's just not long enough, though, even with this engine turned up, to really mount a serious challenge. Hamilton now 2.3 seconds back from myself, and by now he's pretty much going to be in DRS range. And in fact, as we go on to the end of the next lap, he's not quite actually in DRS range just about yet, as Sam there makes that overtake. He's 1.5 seconds off. Now that Sam will lose that position, Hamilton's now going to be in DRS range, and for the final 4 laps of this Grand Prix, it is now going to be a straight fight between not only myself, but now I'm in a 2-on-1 attack between me and the 2 McLarens. So I've now got the bit between my teeth as we go on to lap 32 of this Grand Prix. And again, you can see that we're still fuel and ERS is working very, very nicely. Not using as much engine mode on that occasion was Sam, so I was able to keep it in medium, which is what I've been trying to do, and then I've just been using lean and 0 ERS throughout the entirety of the rest of the lap, and it's really been working well because it's allowing me to just absolutely use everything all the time. But we go a little bit wide there on the exit. Sam goes into the back of us. Contact maze between the two of us there as Sam loses his front wing end plate there. We've now lost the position to Lewis Hamilton. We went wide on the exit of the corner. Now we've cost ourselves the position. We're going to go down the inside though of Sam, make the move stick. Then we're going to try and have a look at Hamilton, who just literally opened the door, and we just about survived that attack there, but that was so close to us losing out in that Grand Prix. But Sam's got damage then to the car. I went onto the grass, lost the rear end, and Sam literally just went straight into the back, couldn't react in time to me making another mistake in this Grand Prix. And this is what happens when you've been pressurized by these two guys, well, mostly the one, but at the moment the two of them, for a good 10 to 11 laps at this stage. It's really not that easy. But obviously Sam now is going to definitely drop back now due to the fact that he's lost out a critical piece of the front wing. He's probably on orange, I'd say, on the front wing. It doesn't look like it's a red end plate, or he'd be a little bit further back than that. But this is the final lap now of the German Grand Prix. We have done everything possible to stay in front at the moment. Hamilton now will give it one more attack here on the straight. Bumps into my car there as we're covering the inside line. In towards the hairpin we go, and we make the move stick on Lewis Hamilton to stay in front. Now we've just got to drag it to the line, and I've saved up enough fuel, saved up enough ERS that on this final lap I can just use absolutely everything to stay in front. I'm just being a little bit monetary on fuel because I'm not quite sure. The fuel consumption was higher than I thought around here. And now, as you can see, we're going towards the stadium section, and we should just about be okay. And we're also setting a personal best middle sector, so there's something for us as Sam now has begun to drop back in this race. Of course, with the damage to his wing, it was evidential that was going to happen. But we go through now the final two corners here, and for the first time since when was our last victory? So we lose the back end there on the last corner. Coming across the line, we're going to take the win at the German Grand Prix and pick up our first race win since the French Grand Prix, which was only 2 races ago, but still obviously an absolutely amazing race. And yeah, that was really, really close. And I'm glad it went in our favour. But as you can see then, having a look at the race results, then we managed to take the race win here today. Lewis Hamilton finishes in 2nd place, and I believe that's his best result of the season, actually, with McLaren so far. He finishes 0.4 of a second behind us. Sam finishes 2.2 seconds back. The top 3 really went for it today. And then you can pretty much see how the rest of the field panned out. I was the only one in the top 5 to do a 1-stop. I believe Butler did a 1-stop, Rosberg did a 1-stop, and then also Bottas did a 1-stop as well. So we managed to make the 1-stop work perfectly for us. George Russell finishes in P4, 28 seconds back. Charles Leclerc in P5, 33 seconds behind. And then we've got Devon Butler and Nico Rosberg close together, P6 and P7 respectively, with Butler finishing 38.8 seconds off and Rosberg 39.2. Daniel Ricciardo finishes in P8, 43 seconds behind. Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, grabs P9 with 46 seconds behind me. And Valtteri Bottas in the Audi misses out on my teammate by 0.8 of a second there. And then Sam did indeed get the fastest lap of the race by setting a 1 minute 14.545 and being just absolutely rapid, but it didn't work out in the end. We're now going to have a look at the Drivers' Championship and see how that's changed things. We now open up a 33-point lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship over Sam, but seeing the upgrades that McLaren have put onto their car, that championship lead is evidently going to come down. That race was a massive struggle for me. I literally do not know how I still managed to keep them behind me. Yeah, there's probably a bit of rough and tumble in there, but we had to win that race on strategy. I didn't even have the raw pace to beat them, so that's something that we need to take care of, and that I can only see Sam getting ever closer in the championship. Charles Leclerc is still 3rd in the championship. He now passes the 100-point barrier and is on bang on 100 points. George Russell on 75 points moved up to 4th in the championship ahead of Pascal Wehrlein in the Porsche, who's on 69 points. Fernando Alonso, who took yet another non-scoring race with him today, is on 66 points. And it's kind of shocking that he's had a race victory and a 2nd place, which has also had the fastest lap points in there as well. So he's really not been overly consistent like his teammate Leclerc has this season. Devon Butler is still 8th in the championship, with Daniel Ricciardo, shall I mention, in 7th on 62 points. So Ricciardo is even closing up now to Alonso. Butler is on 58 points. Valtteri Bottas now moves up to 9th in the championship, or he might have stayed there, I can't remember. Is on 49 points. And Nico Rosberg moves into the top 10 of the championship for Porsche. He is now on 45 points. And now what we're going to do is go to the Constructors' Championship, where things have closed down. Ferrari still lead the Constructors' Championship. They're on 176 points, but it wasn't a good day for them overall. And that means that they have cost themselves a lot in terms of the fight between themselves and also ourselves, Red Bull, who are now on 172 points and are 4 points behind. But, like I said, let's not count out McLaren. They're on 146 points, but we saw the pace they have today. And if it's true in the practice pointers that no one thinks they're going to catch them, McLaren could easily have just taken a huge step in the second half of the season and run away with it. Mercedes-Benz have gone back in front of Porsche now, but that's only 3 points of the gap there between them. Audi are on 109 points, and I think actually outscored Mercedes again. So Mercedes really are struggling at the moment this season and seem to be dropping even further down the pecking order at the moment with their fight with what should be McLaren, Red Bull and Ferrari, but it seems to be their fights with Porsche and Audi at the moment. Renault are on 71 points, Jaguar are on 9 with Ford on 2 and Williams on 1 point. Now what we're going to do is go into the post-race notebook and see what the teams and drivers had to say after that race. First things first, Tom has said that this was by far the hardest race that he's ever had to do in his career. He says that he wants to thank his team for going for the alternate strategy. Obviously, it didn't work out for him in qualifying, but he said that the alternate strategy worked perfectly in their favour and was a little bit of a redemption phase from Monaco, and he said that the team had learnt from that little blunder. McLaren believed that this result was undeserved. They said by far they were the fastest car and they just could not get the job done, and they were very, very frustrated that once again strategy cost them the race win. And Sam has admitted that he's going to have to take it up a gear if he's going to beat Tom this season. Sam said that overall the car was absolutely phenomenal and everyone could see how much faster he was compared to Tom. However, as we saw then in the race, when it came down to that wheel-to-wheel combat, Sam was not eligible to find a way past Tom. And Sam says that at the moment, if he can stay in front of Tom, he'll be able to blast off into the distance. But if he's going to be in wheel-to-wheel combat with Tom, he needs to step it up a level and try and take it to Tom even harder. But that's going to be it, guys, for the German Grand Prix. If you guys have enjoyed it, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. Next time around, we're off to the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys can tune in then and see what will happen. Can we try and pull some performance back, or are McLaren just getting even faster and are about to take the chase down in the championship? See you next time. Take care all. Peace.